Okay, I had myself muted there for a second, but at least I realized it without rambling on. As you can probably hear, my voice is still not back to normal, but I don't have a sore throat anymore, so that's a positive thing. I just have a cough, so I consider that an improvement. So yeah, what has changed today? First of all, thanks for joining, even though this is going to be another ambient stream. I'm hoping to make it fun. Um, what have I changed about the stream? Well, I've switched to low latency mode. Now, Twitch does indicate that low latency mode means you have to run a lower quality. But people have been asking about it on stream because I do agree that it's annoying that chat is really a lot slower, like delayed in regular mode. So even though in regular mode I could probably run the video quality almost twice as high as this, I'm definitely willing to give this a shot. I still, I mean, this is two megabits video bandwidth, and at the very beginning, before I had a 4G connection, I did 500 kilobits, and people still watched. So I think the quality will be sort of acceptable at least. I'm also running out of data cap anyway for this week, so for this month, I mean. So uh, it's a good thing to drop quality. Maybe I'll show you my graph later on. It's a little bit depressing. My phone provider actually won't give me more than 40 gigabytes per month. I may have to like talk them into giving me more or something. I'm willing to pay for it, but it's just above 40. It's like $10 a gigabyte, which is outrageous. So yeah, not doing that. Um, yeah, so this is low maintenance latency mode. So if you chat to me, I'll respond straight away and all that. Um, my rig. The other thing is rig details are back. Why are rig details back? Well, this board that I'm running today is a little bit of an oddball. Let's put it this way, right? Um, you drop res for benches anyway. That's true. 8K or you're leaving. Nice. Okay. So, okay. Um, Story time. So what is the FM2 platform all about? Honestly, I don't know. Um, I may not have mentioned this before, but just for those who are unaware, I did zero PC building, zero PC gaming, zero PC anything really, besides having a laptop for college and so on. I mean, I'm in IT. I mean, I do PC stuff all the time, but I mean, in terms of a hobby, is kind of PC gaming, PC building. I did none of that in between 2006 and 2017. So I missed all of the platform releases, all of the news really. I had no idea about any of that. So even though I'm trying to catch up as much as possible, all of, you know, let's say from AM2 to AM3 plus onwards, and all of the FM releases, anything between LGA 7, the end of LGA 775 and KB Lake, I missed. So that's a huge gap there. Now, on the other hand, Intel went from quad core to quad core. So on the Intel side, I didn't really miss very much. Okay, I'll stop my Intel bashing. Sorry, that was a lame joke, but I think you get my point. I don't know what FM is all about. It's for APUs. Those who don't know, APUs are just GPUs with an CPUs with an iGPU integrated in them. I don't know why there was a second, completely different platform for it. Maybe to make it cheaper or something. I really have no idea. But basically, the end of that, like the summary of that whole story is, you need other motherboards and good XOC motherboards. And while AM3 and AM3 Plus had quite a few of those, um, FM2 had sort of none until the Crossblade came about, and it's kind of a low cost, maybe not a low cost, but a low effort XOC motherboard. Let's put it this way, uh, to put it mildly. Now, I have a lot of ROG boards, Crossblade, sorry, Crosshair 5, Crosshair 6, um, Apex 9, Rampage 6 Apex, uh, the Threadripper board, the Zenith Extreme, and they all have ROG Connect. And the Crosshair 5, even as far as I'm aware, came out ahead of this board, like earlier than this board. So they all have ROG Connect, but this board doesn't. I don't know why, but there you go. So the place where I usually have where last stream I had ROG Connect information, I just decided to put my rig details there again because otherwise it would have been just a big empty space. Yeah, so there's that. Why am I benching FM2 at all? It's all Bilko's fault, basically. He pointed out that I would have never thought of this, so thanks for that. He pointed out that in the Division 6 Road to Pro competition, which is, I mean, there's three AMD exclusive divisions: Division 4 for Ryzen 7, Division 5 for Ryzen 5 and 3, and then Division 6 for a plethora of different chips which are not Ryzen, which are pre-Ryzen. So Bilko pointed out that the multi-core 2D stages, which is Geekbench 4 Multi and Cinebench 15, are per core. So that means within the same architecture, a chip with less cores will probably win out, depending on bidding differences and things. Yeah, so same time as Z97. So my Gene 7 has ROG Connect. The Z87 Gene 6 had ROG Connect. So that's there's absolutely no excuse for no ROG Connect on this. So what was I saying? Yeah, so because of cache considerations and other things like heat and so on, if you're going all out on a particular bench, on LN2 let's say, the lower chord chips should win out. And then because FX didn't have any dual cores, in theory at least, let's call it, I don't know if people are familiar with the term theory crafting, which people use for gaming. Let's call it theory clocking. To do a little bit of theory clocking, if you have the same bin, the same everything, the same RAM, whatever, same platform, a dual core will give you a higher Cinebench score per core and also a higher Geekbench score, in theory, everything else being equal. So I do have a quad core FX chip, but for now I'm going to try the dual cores. So I have a 6420K, which is the highest bin. Let's actually just go there to make this a little bit more visual, I think, because I don't think people are really all that aware of FM2 and FM2 Plus chips. Basically, the too long didn't read, as I'm dropping frames, version of this whole thing is that the FM2 non-plus chips were cold bug free. I'm sure there's some exceptions, but general rule is that FM2 was cold bug free, FM2 Plus was not cold bug free, and the cold bugs, from what I gather, vary quite a bit, but the point is you can't go full pot. So here's our FM2 Plus lineup, which is not what I want to look at. What do they call that? Gen 3. So I have to go to Gen 2. Yeah, here we go. So these are all the chips that you can LN2 full pot. So obviously a lot of people, you see from the number of submissions, a lot of people ran the 5800K and the 6800K because they were high bins. So people were trying to get 8 gigahertz runs on these. Hey, what's up? Daco 98. need a better place to put my chat when I'm in this view. But anyway, I'll sort that out for next stream. So yeah, if people are not aware, there's basically only 3 platforms you can get 8 gigahertz on. It's Cedar Mill, which was socket 775 on the Intel side, and then there's 2 AMD platforms, AM3 Plus, so the FX line of chips, and FM2, the A series basically. So that's why you see all these submissions. I think people are just trying to go for 8 gigahertz. So there's there's quite a few different 4 cores here. They go up in bins up to 4.1 gigahertz, and on the earlier generation up to 3.8. So what we're interested in is the 2 cores. So I've got a couple of Richland ones here, but actually, well, this Pro one is probably really hard to get. That was probably not retail. A 3.8 gigahertz bin would be really nice as well. But let's keep going. So if I'm not mistaken, if there's no K in the name, that means it's locked. So you don't really want to be BSCLKing up to 6 gigahertz or whatever it takes. So even though this is a 3.7 bin and this is a 3.8 bin, well, it doesn't seem to exist anyway. You don't want these chips. So what would actually be interesting would be like a 5400K 3.6 gigahertz bin. That might be an option. I'm working on getting a 6400K. There's quite a lot of submissions here. That's another option. It's 3.9 gigahertz. But the chip I have is the 6420K, so it's just 100 megahertz faster. So basically it's between these 2 chips, 6400 and 6420. Those are going to be the best on this platform basically. Everything else is 4 core. You don't want that. So I'm probably going to get a cheapo 6400K this week. I have a 6420K, but I've decided just for shits and giggles to throw a 6300 non-K in the board today. So the reason for that is, again, it's a new board. Just want to get familiar with it and everything. I'm on air. I'm not going to be clocking up way high anyway. This chip has the same amount of cache, so in terms of pre-testing for Division 6, it will do fine. Versus FX, I may find the time to pre-test the 4-core FX just to compare the per core score, because the stages is per core. So I've configured my mute button as well, so you won't have to listen to me coughing. So that's another innovation. And the other reason is I very much hope to, once I get a couple of scores in, I'm happy with my pre-testing, I don't want to spend too much time on it, I'm actually gonna just take the CPU out of the socket and delete it live on stream. It's the lowest bin, or not the lowest bin. Yeah, it is the lowest bin, or very close to it. 2-core FM2 chip. Who really cares if it's going to die? And the way I'm going to delete it is using a vice. That's how I do it with Intel as well. There you go. If it dies, I've learned my lesson. If it doesn't die, even better. All right, I think that's enough preamble for now. I try to keep this to a minimum, but I think the FM2 platform does deserve a little bit of an introduction, because it's just, I don't know, I wasn't around when it was released. It just seems fucking odd to me, I have to admit. But I don't care, because it goes full pot. So if my chip is good on water or single stage, I'm actually going to be spending some LN2 on this platform. Just one other thing. One of my DDR3 kits came with one of these weird Corsair coolers, air coolers. It looks kind of cool. It doesn't block the post code, so why not? Last thing, my beer of today is Das Bohemian by Batch Brewing. Local brewery here in Sydney. Amazing. I wish they exported so I could really recommend it to other people. So anyway, how's everyone doing? Is everyone really weirded out by the idea of somebody actually benching FM2? I hope they are. That's the goal. That's the goal, really. Um, White Shark, I hope your exam went well the other day. I presume you don't have your results yet, but best of luck with that. So even though I've already completely taken the piss out of this board before I even started clocking it, the good thing is it does have just your standard ROG BIOS. It has a slow mode switch, which I find just sort of outrageous, and an LN2 mode. It also has a memo-K button. So they put basically all the bells and whistles in there except ROG Connect. I don't know why. Let's get to clocking before I completely just derail into just talking about overclocking and old platforms and things like that. So another weird thing is this board still gets BIOS updates for some reason. Usually when I clock an old platform, the BIOS that's on there is already the latest one, or there hasn't been one since 2014 or something. This got a new BIOS in February. By the way, guys, if you can just let me know if there's too much, buffering, stuttering, drop frames. I am seeing a few drop frames in OBS, but it seems to be okay. Oh, I'm missing my chat box. Okay, I knew I was missing something. 1 second. I'm gonna add that. That's so what happened earlier was I by mistake I just completely deleted one of my views in OBS. So let's do it like this. I knew there was something missing here. Okay, cool. I'm happy with that. That's very, very pretty. So yeah, Ranger boards didn't come with Connect, but why not? It's not a licensing issue. Other AMD boards came with ROG Connect. I mean, look, this board is not cheap. It's a high-end board on a cheapo platform. Maybe I'm too simple because Strix wasn't around then. But then that still doesn't make any sense to me. What has Strix got to do with it? I have so many questions. Okay. Yeah. Magic fan blades. I'm going to go into QFan. Oh, one last thing to mention. But I mean, so here's the challenge, right? So it's a low-end platform, but then it's the highest end board within that platform. But then that board is also somehow part of another series of motherboards that are cross-platform, and it's then the lower end of that. That would give me a headache to think about. Sorry, I mean, it just still doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, let's just max all our fans. I don't even know which header my my RAM fans are connected to, but we'll see. So, right. One last thing to mention is I figured out, I don't know what it was, but I figured out the resolution problem. So I have my pass-through properly configured now with the capture card, and I can go all the way up to 1920 by 1080 in OS. So that's beautiful. Okay. One more thing to mention before people get on my back, right? Unfortunately, even though this is a locked chip, I'm going to have to run it in AHCI mode today. I know that's going to be just unbelievably upsetting for everybody, but what I just did before stream, I have an existing OS that I used for X79 that was installed in IDE mode. So short of just making a completely new OS from scratch, which takes quite a bit of time, this is pretty good. I learned my lesson in that one stream where people were complaining about not using IDE mode. This OS was installed in IDE mode, never used outside of IDE mode, yet it blue screens on this board when I said IDE mode. So, and I tried different ports and everything, so I'm not going to be ultra high BCLKing today. Sorry about that, but okay, enough apologies. How is everybody doing? Are you excited to see a really weird chip on a really weird board today? AMD power now. I don't know what any of these things mean. Oh, you can disable the cores. C6, yeah, I would have imagined so. I would have thought so. I'm gonna try. You know, the one thing I am missing in my OS is in OS overclocking, but I'll run a bench first. And the other thing about this board is zero memory profiles. Zero. Not almost none, or like, you know, a small subset of ICs. If you compare this to the formula board I had on my last stream, this is just ridiculous. Disable the iGPU. Yeah, I need to disable that. That's true. I wonder where it would even hide. Maybe it's in Extreme Tweaker. No. For God's sake. Is there even an option? There's no Tweaker's Paradise, so it's the same same setup as every other board, but there's no Tweaker's Paradise. I have PSC in the system at the moment, but I really don't know which IC is going to be best. So I have a kit of Hyper and a kit of Samsung ready to go as well. So in case PSC just gives me an insane amount of trouble, we'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, it just lets me disable multi-monitor, but there's, I mean, that's it. There's no other option. I would have thought it would either be in with the graphics options or somewhere in the CPU option. Maybe it, I don't know. I hope that there's a way to disable it, or else that might give me issues under LN2. This is the latest BIOS. I'm not aware of any XOC BIOSes being available. Yeah, what I was thinking White Shark as well was that whichever it detects as the display output is what's enabled, and then the iGPU is just disabled. I wonder whether GPU Z would show me whether it's enabled or not, because clearly, or maybe CPU Z even shows me. That's all I can think of. This is, yeah. Okay, let's at least throw on a little bit of low light calibration. 1.35 stock. That's interesting. Let's give my PSC. Was this a generation of CPU where setting a high DRAM voltage actually broke the IMC? Wasn't that FM? Oh yeah, let's go like 1.75. What does this board consider to be high voltage? 1.6 is high already? That's 1.65 is actually stock for a lot of DRAM. What's max? Okay, so I don't know if this is going to kill my IMC, but I could run a Samsung on here. 2.135 is alright for Samsung. But let's stick with the PSC for now. Okay. Let's just go really basic for now. And we've got to work out on our straps. So let's just lock that in. 1600 is the top strap. I think on the other chip there's an 1866 strap. Let's go for that for now. Yeah, it's completely bizarre, isn't it? Like I say, I don't understand this platform. Maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know, but I don't understand this platform. But I'm not complaining. Please don't interpret it like that. I love just platforms that don't make any sense. I don't use PCs. I only bench them. I don't play any games or anything like that. So a platform that doesn't make any sense is perfect for me. That's exactly what I want. I'm just gonna get, okay, so our RAM speed is in there. Let's BCLK up a little bit, at least to 1800. Now I don't have my in OS utility on this OS yet. Now the next thing also will be VDDNB. I assume would be something that you might push to get higher FSB or higher BCLK. So doesn't seem to be any termination voltage at all, unless it's down here somewhere. It does have ODT though. Okay, so are you literally saying that my chip will die if I go? Oh, that's the max as specified by AMD. You're saying a little bit how AMD says max V core for Ryzen is 1.45, whatever it is, like that kind of thing, or we're actually in the danger zone in terms of killing the IMC or whatever at 1.85. Okay, so you're saying FM2 doesn't have that restriction, or you just don't know what the restriction is? Okay, that's interesting. Let's go stock BCLK then. Okay, let's hope there's some sort of turbo V or something. I suppose I could use PS check in a pinch. Funnily enough, this doesn't have XP support as far as I'm aware. So it's not even old in a good way, you know, it's not so old that it has XP support. Oh. Yes, but that's my problem. I don't do things within reason. So how come my capture is not the entire screen? It's a bit annoying. Okay, it'll be fine. I think it's just the 16:10 crap that is really letting me down here. Just having looked through all the utilities. Well, there's an ROG CPU Z. There's no Turbo V. Yeah, unless I'm missing something, there's no Turbo V. Let's try. Let's try the X79 version of Turbo V. See what happens. Okay. Well, that's something. This is bothering me a little bit, so I'm gonna just drop down in resolution and see if more of the screen shows up. No, not really. Bear with me for a second. I didn't notice this earlier, so that's more like it. Okay, I can get rid of this. Okay. First things, okay. I will have to reboot one more time. I disabled the USB 3.0 ports, and this board has only got 6 ports, and 4 of them are USB 3.0, so most boards, it's just a habit. Most boards you disable 3.0 and you still have 4 or 6 or 8 ports left. So it's great because it's one less thing to worry about, cold or whatever. It's just an instinct for me. But on this board, I don't have any more ports because 2 ports are occupied by keyboard and mouse. Okay. And that also cropped out. Okay, I see what's happening. It's not a problem with the capture card. That actually did fail to boot. Okay. So enabling USB ports actually causes a hang. Very interesting. Oh, it considers that an overclocking failed. I don't know how to break it to you, card, but or board rather, but I wasn't overclocking. That's not an overclocking fail. That's a USB controller enabled fail. Fan rip? Oh wow. I literally just took this out of its original packaging. I mean, it's old new stock. It's old new stock, but I literally just assembled this. What the hell? Maybe it was getting too little current. Maybe it needs, you know, more RPM to actually get going. Okay, let's just go. and see what happens here. It's a 2 dimmer as well, isn't it? The Wi-Fi board. Has anyone ever made a 4 dimmer ITX board that wasn't so dim? Okay. Man, capture card. It's never given me this much trouble. Okay. Too dim on a quad channel chipset. Only ASRock would do that. That's insane. Good old ASRock. What would we do without ASRock? I presume this is the right wallpaper. So let's just make sure our RAM is set up the way it should be. So we're at 912.9. It auto-trained a pretty tight TRC. I have to give it credit where credit's due. That's Cinebench 11.5, isn't it? No, it's not. While that's running, I'm gonna update my Nightbot with the right beer. How long had I been muted? This is at stock. That's the problem with the mute button. Sometimes you forget to unmute yourself. I wasn't saying anything very insightful anyway. I was just updating my Nightbot. That was about it. Yeah, I'm just gonna sub a placeholder score on this platform, but what I really want to run is Geekbench 4. Even though, like you said, maybe DDR4 is the better platform. I'm just curious though. There's so few results for this chip. I'll pick it up tomorrow. I have hopefully not broken. Um, I have that. I have a quad channel Samsung kit. I have an Ivory Bridge chip. I have a 6.5 gigahertz 4770K, all on the way, and a 29 not a 290X, an HT7970 Lightning, my second one. So I had two parcels to pick up today, but I got notified while I was at work, and the usual deal. Post offices close at 5, so it's kind of hard to get there in time. But I'll go there in the morning to pick it all up. Hopefully, I'll be able to carry it all. But yeah, it's I haven't picked it up yet. 137 Cinebench. Hi Palazin, welcome to the stream. It's another special day because I don't think anybody benchmarks this system right here. Okay, that is the right wallpaper, right? I assume so. There was a mix-up with wallpapers. It was pretty dramatic. Look at that cute aim 3. It's FM2. Oh, you mean the little icon in CPU-Z? Yeah, that is cute. I never have the right USB stick when I need it. What is it about USB sticks not being recognized either? It's kind of a little bit odd. Hello. Okay. I was already there. I'm stupid. Okay. It's about as much as I need per core. Yes. So here we go. Multiplier locked. Just to point that out. Yeah. Let's get... Oh god. Do I really only have 2 working USB ports? Looks like I'm turning into an underclocker. Yeah, these other USB ports are just completely fucked. All right. I'll grab the wallpaper because I'm gonna have to reset it because my version of Windows is not genuine. Okay. Time for Geekbench 4 multi. Oh, that's right. I have to, of course, go into normal mode. Alright. I didn't forget the location of the unmute button this time around. Hi, SRVCH. You're witnessing history here. FM2 on a live stream. I'm pretty sure that's never happened before. It's a fun thing to show you guys while I enter my key. I think the search bar can be quite bad sometimes, to the point where just Googling the same search gives you better results. There are 112 submissions here, and yeah, nobody in r/overclocking has subbed this chip yet, so sweet team points. All right. One of these days I'm going to check whether what exact services Geekbench 4 needs. I assume it's audio. I don't know if somebody else knows, but it's so annoying because you can't set diagnostic mode because it needs one particular thing or two particular things. So I always end up, you know, doing this kind of crap. Ooh, system info is on. That's pretty bad. Yeah, security center is another big drag. Defender for sure needs to go. Yeah, I can see the lag now is pretty small. That's good. All right. So this chip, I assume, is one of these modules, right? So it's considered to be a 2-core, but it's not really a 2-core. Isn't that it? Same way the 8 cores are 4 modules of 2. This should be faster than the Cinebench run, hopefully. Well, I think Geekbench 4 is a constant speed. Geekbench 3 speeds up with core clock. Oh, we have a few new viewers. Chili Man, welcome. What's up? This is the antithesis of LN2 overclocking. Air overclocking on a budget platform. But no, disabling cores is actually never allowed on hardware bot. Okay, let me refine that statement. In a multi-cored bench, a multi-cored 2D bench, disabling cores is never allowed. You can never try to participate in a lower per core category than the one that your chip naturally falls in. You can up core, so you can unlock a 2-core into a 3-core or 4-core, a 4-core into a 5-core or a 6-core. A 1-core into a 2-core can be done as well with the Sempron 140 line, I think, and 150 line. But you can never down core, because then what people would do is they'd grab a Coffee Lake chip, disable 5 cores, and just kill all the 1-core globals. So it's never allowed. Now for 3D it's allowed, and for single core benchmarks it's allowed. So that's why you see SuperPi 32M on Coffee Lake, even though it's a 6-core. But no, don't don't ever even entertain the idea of down coring for multi-core benchmarks. Not allowed. Yeah, see, Geekbench 4 has basically a set 3-minute kind of runtime as far as I can see. It's never really sped up for me, no matter how many gigahertz I added on cold. So okay, 3467. 3467. How does that compare? Thing is, there may not even be a Geekbench 4 multi-result for the chip I have to compare to. I may have to run it myself just to see. So the top result, well, 6258. How much of an overclock is that? 25%. So take away 25% or thereabouts. Okay, but that's per core. Hold on. So yeah, we're already beating FX at stock. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna LN2 this chip, but I'm just saying this guy is 25% above stock. He has the same just pleb RAM as I have, and per core I'm already beating him, unless I'm doing really bad maths here. 6.2, yeah, so he's like at 3.1 2029 for 2 cores. I'm at 3.4 67. Yeah, it's looking promising in a way. Obviously no tweaks applied yet or anything. Okay, let's just grab that just to have something. Excuse me. So I wonder, just speculating a little bit, I wonder what, I mean, I know Zen is just insanely different to all the other AMD architectures. I get that. But at the same time, I do wonder. I mean, hindsight is always 2020, but just because I'm curious, why was there never SMT on AMD before this? I mean, clearly it's something that's not easy to implement. It's, it just potentially changes your entire pipeline. I mean, must do. But CMT. What's CMT? I'm just saying, I mean, Intel has had it since Pentium 4 hyperthreading. How old? Like, that's whatever. More than 15 years. And AMD came out with their first implementation of it, and it's really good. It beat Intel. So you know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously, I mean, maybe it could be sort of a thing that is completely just tied in with Ryzen. So the Zen architecture maybe becomes, in a sense, a little bit more similar to what Intel is using, and therefore it makes sense to have SMT. But I mean, purely if you look at it from a really high level, you're getting sort of a part of a core without having to physically put it on the chip. I mean, that's a really dumb simplification of it, but that's the way a lot of people will look at it. Okay, here we go. 10% BCLK overclocking inside OS. Let's see if this works. Yay. Let's see if it's benchable. CMT. When did they ever use CMT in consumer chips? But okay, fine, but you still have physical silicon in place. I know the second core, or whatever you want to call it, in that module maybe has, what is it missing? It's missing integer units or floating point units or something. It's not, I mean, it's cheaper to build, I suppose, than the other core, but it's still there. It's still got something on silicon. SMT is just, I don't know, it's not defined in software, but it's certainly not got the same footprint on the silicon as an actual core will. Yeah, but so this CMT, that was a bulldozer and onwards thing, wasn't it? I don't think K8 and K10 had CMT. That's fine. I mean, I kind of get why there was no SMT in that entire sort of 15th gen of AMD chips, because it's built up completely differently. But if you go back to, I don't know, how far back do you have to go? But let's say K8, the first 64-bit chip, that was more like an Intel chip, wasn't it? Yeah, but let's just throw out those four architectures completely and say what AMD had before that. Why not implement SMT in there? I mean, better late than never. It's amazing that AMD is kicking Intel's ass in SMT. Yeah, K10. I don't think there ever was a K9, was there? There was K8 and K10. I remember both of those. I'm old enough to remember both of those. But those were more traditional chip architectures, and they decided not to implement SMT. I don't know if there's some sort of licensing issue or what's going on, but it seems kind of weird. I overclocked quite a bit there, and it's still 3 minute benchmark. It just doesn't speed up. Yeah, okay, so Geekbench 4. If anybody hasn't seen this error before, it's a known error when you change BCLK in OS. I was hoping, I mean, it's platform dependent for sure. I was hoping I wouldn't be getting that, but yeah, I'm getting it. So now my decision to use the locked chip today is turning out to be a little bit more silly, because of course, yeah, HPET for sure. Thanks for the reminder. I was gonna check that anyway, but yeah, I'll disable. I'll disable if it's on. I'll enable if it's not on. It's sometimes down here somewhere, isn't it? Okay. IDE mode strikes again. Of course. Well, what I was sort of in the back of my mind, what I was thinking in terms of IDE mode was this board would be too old to have UEFI in the boot mode, but it does have that. So I have to go. This might be the root cause of the whole IDE mode crap, because obviously you have to go IDE mode for the SATA controller, and you have to disable secure boot. So now I should be able to boot this OS in IDE mode. Okay. Boot from USB should never be a thing by default. I think it's fine to implement a button to say hit it now to you know, bring up a boot menu or something, but the fact that the BIOS detects a USB stick that's just any old USB stick and an actual SSD and thinks it's a good idea to boot from the USB stick, even though it doesn't even have an OS on it, is a little bit weird. Okay, that's funny. I really thought that was going to be the issue. We haven't even seen all of it, White Shark. 32 cores is not the end of it, I wouldn't say. Neither, yeah, we neither have a setting for HPET, nor do I know what the problem with IDE mode is. No. Yep. But the Wi-Fi doesn't have an LN2 mode, does it? Maybe it doesn't need it. Maybe that's just Ace's marketing crap, you know? Maybe the jumper doesn't do anything. It's just there to make us feel good about our expensive purchase. Yeah. Well, I mean, at least I'm self-aware. At least I know this board is bad. Be worse if I were like the Diablo streamer the other day, who said, "Oh, 8700K, the best CPU ever in gaming and productivity for the platform." Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not seeing it yet, but that's just because I'm coming from X79 last stream and Ryzen and stuff, where you're just absolutely pampered with everything you need. Okay, let's just considering our limitations currently, I'm gonna swap the RAM for hypers because clearly I'm not gonna get anywhere close to what PSC can do with IDE mode, with no BCLK inside of the OS. I mean, you guys probably already know the big Extreme Systems thread on DDR3 DDR3 ICs, but just because I have them all in front of me at the moment, we've got our hypers here, which are version. Hopefully you can read that. Version 2.1. So it's a 2000 bin CL8. 888 flat, 1.65 volt stock volts, and version 2.1 will tell you it's a hyper kit. So that's a triple channel kit I've got actually. In contrast to that, here we've got Samsung, which is version 4.13. Not saying this is the only version at Samsung, but it's just an example of it. Fuck. So it's a 2133 bin, which is quite low for Samsung for the good. I think it's the 4 megabit something die, C die or something. So it's a 2133 CL9 kit, so 9, 11, 10, 27, and 1.5 volts stock volts, which is interesting for DDR3. That's not really common. And to finish it off. Again, these are not all the bins that are available even on Corsair. I mean, it's kind of funny that all my kits are Corsair, but the kit of PSC I've got, or I have two triple channel kits with one dead stick by now, is version 7.1A, 2000 bin, and it's 89824, and I think it's 1.65 volts as well. Really not good at pointing this at the camera, am I? Yeah, so PSC, not a good idea today. Samsung, an even worse idea. Let's go with the hypers. Let's see what the hypers can do on this platform. Okay, gonna take a look at that pic while we're booting up here. Ugh, that's the wrong setting. 4790, very nice. 4.6 gigahertz. Ooh. 2133 seems very decent for daily. That must be PSC. Well, 10, 12, 10, I suppose so. Command rate 1, I would recommend going. Sorry, command rate 2, I'd recommend going command rate 1. You're leaving a lot of performance on the table there. Oh, 4 sticks. Maybe. Okay, that's nice. Oh, just to mention the RAM I just showed. Um, they're all 2 GB, except Samsung is a 4 GB stick. Fanny, it's another kick in the ass. Okay. Um, let's go. Just 777. 24. Surely. Or Hyper can do that. Gonna need that extra light or okay. This is gonna be interesting. Let's just run the same bench on tighter timings. Oh, we're back at IDE mode, aren't we? Just missed the blue screen. My capture device is dropping out like crazy, and it didn't do that before, so I know it can do better. I wonder what the issue is. HDI, damn it. Well, I'm glad the rig camera is good for something. Checking whether the fans are working or not. Cheers. Oh, that's ominous. I really don't want my capture card dropping out like this all the time when I'm on LN2. I have to get a sense for what it's obviously happening every time resolution changes and stuff, but it's just this is just people have warned me of this happening on capture cards that cost less than $500 or something, but I think I got this card for like $60 shipped or something, and the on the first live stream I used it was perfect. Okay, so come on, CPU Z. I think XOZ mode is on. Must be. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Let's make a read only. In case people don't know this trick, read only means that your surround sound. What kind of surround sound? Okay, 777 RAM. It's nice. Hey Rave, you haven't been on the stream for a while. Glad to see you. What's up, man? Oh, you're listening to me on a headset. What earned me that honor? So Rave, capture cards go to the same electronic Hellas printers. Truer words have never been spoken. So just to catch you up, since we're just running a bench here, Rave, I have a capture card now. It worked fine for a couple of streams. Today I'm having issues with it. Yeah, headsets are better. I have a new command, which is !rig. So anytime I don't have rig details up on the stream, you just go !rig, ! I don't want to be American, sorry. Because I'm running out of space on my stream. So maybe the last time you watched, I had a camera pointed at the screen and just one rig camera and in my face, and then there was still space to put the rig details. I don't do that anymore. I also run when available, which this board doesn't have it, but when available, I run ROG Connect. So in the top left hand corner of the screen, you'll see current multiplier, current vCore, all that kind of stuff. So that's another thing I need space for. And obviously the chat box, which maybe I may not have had on stream the last time you watched. Paladzin, yes, I reconnected my capture card today, and for some reason it allowed me to go up to 1080p. Last time it didn't, so I'm happy with that. The other innovation rave that I need to talk about is low latency mode for Twitch. So I was a bit afraid to turn that on earlier on, Livestream 1, 2, 3, whatever, because I had such issues with my internet. Now, since I've started dongling my 4G and figuring out the right bit rate to set and all that, I haven't had as many issues with dropped frames. So some guys were suggesting that the chat delay was a little bit annoying, so that's why I've taken sort of the risk, or I'm testing out low latency mode, because the trade-off with low latency mode is, for a given internet quality, you'll be able to stream a certain bit rate that's lower than you'd be able to stream in normal mode, because this mode is attempting to get the video out as quickly as possible, so it doesn't give you as much leeway in terms of buffering or whatever in the middle. But I think it's working out okay. It means that I can be more interactive with the stream, with the people in chat, because there's not as much of a delay between the video and the chat. Okay. As to what I'm doing, okay, so that gave us 80 points just on primary timings. That's decent. Now, Rave, the reason that I'm running FM2 is because there's a Geekbench 4 stage in Division 6, and according to some, this will be the best thing to bench for there, because on cold for sure, because what you want is a cold bug free CPU, which FM2 is. FM2 isn't. FN2 Plus isn't, I mean. And it's the Geekbench and the Cinebench 15 stages are per core. So you want to go 2 core. 80% of the time you're right about these things. Yeah, probably even higher. So you want a 2 core because, as you can imagine, there's sort of like a baseline score you get, and then each core adds like less than that in a way, because of cache and all other things I don't want to get into. So you want to run the fewest cores possible, really. There's no single cores on any of the architectures allowed for Division 6, but they are dual cores. Now, there are no dual cores on FX. So FX, yeah, core scaling isn't 100%. FX has quad cores and up, and FX is the fastest AMD platform bar, Zen, but Zen is banned, so you'd want to go FX for everything. But when it's a per core stage, we think that dual core will outweigh that. So if you have similar binning and you have like an FX 4100 or whatever, or 4300, all out on cold, no issues, you can clock it all the way up, versus not this particular chip, but the 6420K on this platform. The 6420K will potentially win out. Now, obviously, there's other things to think about, like memory. They're both DDR3 platforms, so they should be close, but maybe you can't clock as high, because according to the AMD listing, at least, the 4620K, its top strap is 1866. So, yeah, unless Yeah, L3 cache exactly is missing, or smaller. Um, so if I can get an IDE mode Windows 7 installed, yeah, okay, same strap, interesting. Then I'd be able to BCLK a little bit more, and then everything should be fine. Yeah, but there was no 9000 series 4 core, was there? Yeah. I'm gonna try 105 BCLK just to see if Geekbench um, tolerates a little bit of clock drift, just to get us somewhere, you know. 8 viewers, I like it. Yeah, so I am going to be running 9000 series for 3D, most likely. Yeah, Rave, are you the one who also has a crossblade? It's just, I summarized it a little bit at the start of the stream. It's just a fucking weird board. It has so many things on it, and it doesn't have raw connect. It it's the first time I've ever found myself running out of USB ports. Um, and yet it has, what does it have? It has like three different display outs. It's just, I'm just not used to it. I'm not saying it's a bad board yet. Um, I don't really call any board bad until I've run it cold and run into issues cold. But yeah, it's just a little bit, it's a little bit off. The look of it is a bit off. Um, the fact that it just has, like, you know, a slow mode switch and a memo case switch button, but no and an LN2 mode, but no raw connect. NZXT USB headers. I have two of those, and they're both in my laptop because I have so many cameras and microphones and stuff connected to my laptop that I can get a third one, I suppose. Oh, so Rave, and the reason I'm on this is the A4 6300 non-K, so it's all BCLKOC. Oh, these ones are not a hub. Okay. Um, because I want to delete it live on the stream as soon as I take it out of the system. And I only have 164 20K. They're quite rare. Okay, it plugs directly into a header. Nice, I didn't know that. Thanks for the tip. Um, so I want to possibly refine my delidding process on this chip. And if I kill this chip, I really couldn't give a toss. But my 64 420K, I paid a little bit more for, and I would imagine there's not as many around in Australia, and that's the one I actually want to take cold. So yeah, just experimenting on this chip, because at the end of the day, these results are 100% applicable to the other chip, bar maybe the missing RAM ratio, but you know, you can kind of work out the scaling. It's not a big deal. So last time I ran with BCLK overclocking it, went all the way to the end of the benchmark and then told me that there was unacceptable clock drift. Yeah, okay. I have HPET enabled because of GPU Pi, I think. Oh no. Yes, it's enabled. I have to disable it and try again. I think that's... God. How do I not remember this command? This is embarrassing. I've said it so many times, but now I'm relying on GPU Pi setting it. Oh, there's no equals. Give it a quick reboot. Yes, script collection. I know. Look, I went from reinstalling my OS basically every time I benched because I have so many different platforms and it was never compatible, to at least keeping a repository of images. It delayed me going streaming today actually because I purposely imaged this OS before I messed around with it on FM2 because it's my X79 OS. So I'm learning. I'm slowly but surely learning, and my capture card dropped off again. Boom. At least it's quick to do. So, no, it's not disabled, the clock. What the hell? Maybe you can't disable on this. Hey Ella, welcome back. Yes, I have a capture card. This stream is getting better every time. I mean, it came from a really low base, so it's like I left myself all that room for improvement, that easy room for improvement, but it is improving incrementally. So yeah, it doesn't look like I can disable the platform clock. Let's tighten the RAM. Let's go to 666. So what have you been benching recently, Ella? Anything exciting? Hi, Desert Todd. Welcome to the stream. I'm hopefully you're not weirded out by FM2 benching on Twitch. It is a bit how should I say? It's a bit of a fringe sort of thing, you know. I don't think many people are into this, but that's okay. What is it? 7 billion people in the world. Surely somebody's into this. 10 people are into it. They're in the chat now. So. Well, look. All I can say is don't buy Intel. You know, then you won't have problems with HPET. No, I'm joking. That's not the case. Threadripper also has issues with HPET, so I shouldn't be one to talk. a.k.a. That was really, really weird. What happened right now was my capture card was ahead of the actual screen, so it threw an actual delay into the signal because I'm passing through the signal. That is odd as hell. Oh, you have a board for you have a 462 board. I am officially jealous. I really like the old 462 platform. I built some chip systems on that platform back in the day. So 666 RAM. Nice. So our last score was 3543. Let's see how much this does. What's DPC, Paladson? So are you done with your GTX 690 yet, Rave, or are you still overclocking that? I haven't seen any subs from you recently. Oh. Dual I still don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. Excuse my ignorance. My first PC was 386. I think it was an 80 megahertz. I don't know. I was really young. I'm not really remembering. Yeah, that's cool. Athlon XP was amazing. I want to clock some of the Durons. If anyone's curious, I'm eating something, you know, uniquely Australian. Double choc coat Tim Tams. They're amazing. But Paladin, what do you need HPET for? Okay, we got 10 points out of that. It's something. Okay. Let's try to go up in BCLK. Oh, X265. No, hold on. If you're trying to sub on hardware bot, you can sub hardware bot without HPET enabled. All of Splav's global firsts are without HPET enabled. The rules are a little bit uncertain about that. I did actually report one of, or I contacted a moderator about that, and he cleared it and said, yeah, it's on all the lakes, it's fine. No, Palazzo, the rules are written in a really weird way. It's fine. It's totally legal on hardware bot. Believe me. So, hold on. Let's go. Let's look at some results to prove my point. So 4K, right? Let's go to 4K. Let's go to where's Play first. He's first in a lot of things, right? So here, 10 core, the best 10 core result in the world, right? Let's look at the screenshot here. HPET will be off 100%. See that? Timer type not detected. That means HPET is off. This result has been up for months, years maybe, because it's legal. See, 16th of September 2017. This is a global first, Gold Cup. This kind of stuff doesn't stay up if it's not legal. It's perfectly fine. Just bench. Don't be afraid. Okay, well, we got into OS. We have our 5% overclock, which is pretty sweet. Oh, Ground. How are you doing? Thanks for joining the stream. I think Monday might become my second streaming day, to be honest. I'm sort of thinking about it, you know. Friday night is pretty much a safe bet. That's why that's my main streaming night. I tend to get LN2, and if I have LN2, Thursdays or Fridays. So Friday night is just perfect because I can stay up late. I don't have to work in the morning. I don't have really any commitments or anything. But Monday is shaping up to be sort of the second best day for that. I've streamed a lot on Mondays. The second most out of every weekday, I think. So I don't know if I can sort of officially say I'll definitely stream twice a week, every week. I think it's that's a lot of streaming. But yeah, I don't know. More often than not, it seems like I'll have something to stream on a Monday night. So yeah. You heard it here first. So the thing about side taskbars, right? I'm one of these grouchy old people who still remembers 4:3 monitors. Well, let's put it this way. I still remember tube monitors that could perfectly switch between resolutions. Not like TFTs, flat screens, which just crap themselves when they're not at their native resolution. Which could also perfectly switch between frame rates and not look fuzzy or whatever. But that's way in the past. We're never going back there. But I also still remember 4:3 screens, which gave you a nice amount of vertical space, you know, to read text, which is what humans tend to do every once in a while, or maybe constantly, because everything is text on a screen. But then after that came 16:10 screens, which were slightly better for movies, but really just sucked for everything. In the sort of public opinion, I have two 16:10 screens right here. I like them because they at least give you a little bit more vertical real estate. But at work, of course, we have 16:9 laptops, and they're not even corporate laptops, you know, with a nice rugged finish or something. They're Dell XPS 13, which is a good laptop, but not a business laptop. And glossy screens as well, which is just terrible. Absolutely terrible. I tell you, back in the day, everything was better. I sound like I'm 60, but sometimes I feel like that. I feel young, but in terms of what I remember and what differences there are and what good stuff has been taken away from us, I feel very old and grumpy sometimes. We need the data file, of course. Okay. So that passed, so that proves that the in-OS overclocking is the problem. Yeah, look, maybe yeah. What I'm trying to express there is that for the longest time, for really years and years and years, TFTs were absolutely awful yet they were pushed on us as the more superior replacement for tube screens. Now, 10, 15 years later, potentially, if you want to spend enough money on a TFT, it'll actually be better than tubes were back in the day. But what I'm saying is that for a huge long interim period, TFTs were all 60 FPS, and I don't really know whether you could go down in hertz, 60 hertz. I mean, sorry. So you were kind of stuck at 60 hertz, and native resolution, and horrible bit depth, and all that, and tube screens did everything. So that's my sort of frame of reference. Now, obviously, that has changed a little bit, but to this day, there are things that TFTs can't do that tube screens could. Do hypers go down to 5? Let's check. Let's see if hypers go down to 5. That would be funny. And of course, my capture card has dropped out. It's gonna come back when I'm back in OS. It's doing something. 53 looks like a memory related error though. Okay, well, that was worth a try. I just pressed memo key and it didn't do anything. It seems like neither the clear CMOS nor the memo OK button do anything. Let's see what happens now. This is promising. 62. I mean, I would consider 1600 an atrocious frequency. FM1, I really want to get into FM1. That sounds like fun. Did FM1 came out at the same time as AM3, is that right? I always get confused because my simple brain would consider it logical for FM2 to come out at the same time as AM2 and then FM3 at the same time as AM3, but since there is no FM3, then that obviously didn't happen. Educate me. When did FM1 come out? In between AM2 Plus and AM3? Or at the same time as AM3? I should really be setting all this other stuff, but I'm not. Same time as AM3 Plus, but then what? How is there time in between AM3 Plus and AM4 for FM2 and FM2 Plus to come out? It doesn't make any sense to me. Bilko's got this. Okay. Well, what the hell is this? I have never seen a real-time monitoring tab in X265, and I have run probably hundreds of hours of X265 these days already. What is going on? What is this, Paladzin? Is this the official benchmark? You can just save the data file from that point on, right? Just if you press the save data file, if you press the save data file button, what happens? Okay, but all I'm saying is you can submit without a real-time timer, right? Okay, so have we cleared up the confusion about real-time timer then? Hopefully. I'm trying 108 BCLK right now. Just not switching to that view because the capture card has dropped out again. See, we need guys like Bilko to clear this up because AMD is just confusing as fuck on so many different levels. Let it be noted that this board does not have fractional BCLK. It just has... Okay. I'll try that option. It just has full integer BCLK. So now I'm at 107 BCLK, I think. And it's gone. Well, Biko, pin number, you know, the difference there is I'm going to defend Intel. This doesn't happen very often, okay? So listen up. The difference there is this is pin amounts, pin numbers, pin quantities. And I think the general public is aware of the fact that more pins is not better. So it took me all of 5 minutes to, when I got back into benching after like 10 years of not doing anything PC related, it took me about 5 minutes to realize that we went from 1156 to 1155 to 1150 to 1151. But when I first saw, well, I knew about AM2 plus and AM3 plus vaguely, but when I first saw that there was an entire other line of chipsets and sockets, and the numbering was completely out of step with the mainline one, that did sort of not make much sense to me. But maybe I'm just a bit dumb. That's definitely a possibility that I don't want to discount. Okay, so we're at 106 BCLK. Let's see the max for Cinebench just for shits and giggles. So, but that's the thing. FM1 didn't come before AM2 though. You know what I mean? Like, people skip numbering all the time. There's no Windows 9, for example. They could have just called it a different chipset. Like, I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas here. Okay, let's get the Geekbench run in at 106. Yeah, but obviously when there's a different socket, you need a different chipset. But I don't know. I just wish like. So what was the aim, right? What was the aim of the FM line of sockets? I mean, it's not like AMD chipsets and boards were expensive to begin with. So how much of a cost cut can you really achieve when you're just asking all of your OEMs and everybody to come up with new models of main boards and new tooling and everything? Isn't it potentially a better idea just to eat the cost of the extra pins or the extra whatever is associated with the AM socket and just plop the APUs into that socket like they did with AM4? Like, what makes more sense to you? Let's just for a second eradicate all FM main boards and everything, and just imagine another CPU that you can plonk down into your AM2 Plus board, and it's a cheap CPU. And if you feel like using the iGPU part of it, you just have to make sure you buy a motherboard with display out. Just the way, exactly the same way it is with AM4 currently. But it's not a radical change. I mean, all you need is just display outs. It's still DDR3. There's nothing about the chipset that's different. Like what exactly is different about all of the integrated I/O and everything? It's still SATA. It's still PCI Express. Like Intel just took the decision of just putting iGPUs in everything, and there's clearly drawbacks to that, but they managed to have Celeron and Pentium and i3s and i5s and i7s in the same lineup since, I mean, I don't know, since Ivy Bridge, I suppose. When did they start putting iGPUs and everything? I think, I don't know. I mean, it's not necessarily a criticism or anything. All I'm saying is just for an innocent bystander like me, when I got back into benching, I sort of thought, well, what's the point in all this? Clarkdale. Okay. Was it really all of the entire lineup with iGPUs though? So one BCLK gave us 3 points in Geekbench 4. That's nice. Yes, but Ella, you've got to remember, I don't know, your average guy is less intelligent than your. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah, maybe I'm making too much of a deal of this, but all I'm saying is like, so were FM mainboards actually cheaper at time of release than AM3 mainboards, for example? I don't know. I wasn't around. I literally didn't exist in terms of the the hardware or the PC scene. So I have no idea. You have to tell me. But that's the only benefit I would see is if the FM motherboards are so much more cut down that in spite of the fact that the OEMs had to go out, turn around and make all these extra models and things, if the cost savings were so great that for the consumer it still ended up being cheaper in the shop, then I completely understand the move. Then Northbridge, but so hold on. I mean, Northbridge for me means memory controller. Are you saying that FX has the IMC inside the chip and the APUs have it in the Northbridge? Is that the setup? Okay, that's the end of BCLK from BIOS, and since I'm gonna have a timer issue if I increase BCLK from OS for Geekbench 4, I'm going to go on to Cinebench now. Yay, 4 gigahertz. Let's get a validation as well. Oh, there we go. Okay. What did you write, Ella, that ended up being spam? Was it just repeated symbols or something? Okay, Bilko, but you've got to remember my knowledge of Northbridge versus Southbridge is from, the Pentium 4 days or whatever. The first, I remember when the first platform on the Intel side came out that integrated the memory controller into the CPU itself. And at that point, all the media, everybody was saying, there's now no longer a Northbridge. There's only one chip, one physical package outside of the CPU, and we call that the chipset. And it's if you want to call it something, it's a Southbridge, but the Northbridge doesn't exist anymore. Because the Northbridge used to be there as like the connection between the RAM and the CPU, because the IMC was in there. So that's my level of knowledge from about 2004 or something. But that's at the time people said there was no longer such a thing as a Northbridge because the IMC was in the CPU. So if now you're saying that the FM platform still has a Northbridge and a Southbridge, okay. I mean, I see a heat spread, like a sort of like a heat shield on there, right? There may be two chips under there. I don't know why they would be separated onto two chips. Like, what is the point in Northbridge and Southbridge anymore if there's no IMC in there? Oh, Ella, you were getting annoyed. Annoyed at me? Or annoyed at life in general? Yeah, but I mean, you've got to remember, right? When this first happened on the Intel side, I possibly wasn't even looking at websites. Like, I might have looked at like PC Gamer magazine or something, and there the headline was, maybe not the headline, but their attempt at explaining it for teenagers was, oh, there's no longer a Northbridge. There's just one chip now outside. You could physically see it on the board. Previously, there was a Northbridge primarily for the link between the CPU and the Northbridge, and there was an IMC in there, and then the IMC went off to the memory, and the Southbridge had crap like parallel a.k.a. and whatever else you need, USB ports and crap like that. So that's my level of understanding of Northbridge versus Southbridge. So yeah, okay, but I do believe you. Don't take this as me not believing you. If you say the Northbridge is not equal to the IMC, I can get with that, because it makes logical sense to me that if you have two bits, like two separate bits to the chipset, it doesn't really matter what's in both bits. As long as there's two bits, there's one called the Northbridge and one the Southbridge. Traditionally, maybe the Northbridge might have primarily contained the IMC, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's just the IMC. Grab my crosshair. Which crosshair? The 6 or the 5? Okay, let's grab a 5. Where's the Northbridge? Tell me. Over here somewhere? Is it under here? Under here? Hold on. This is educational. To Orson Adventuron. Just above the top PCIe slot at the end of the VRM. Okay. Oh, okay. I actually see it under there. Okay. Yeah, there's literally a chip under there. I don't know if it will ever show up, but no, it doesn't. I'd have to take the VRM off, which I'll do. Why not? 2 times kappa. Kappa for me not knowing what the North Bridge is. I'm taking off the VRM heatsink. It's kind of bothered me anyway. Next time I'm running this board will be on LN2. It doesn't need a VRM heatsink. Oh yes. Bits are flowing in again. Ugh. Oh yeah, the that's the other issue when I go full screen. But you know what? I'm a big fan of ThinkPad laptops. Oh, Rave, you missed affiliate as well. Look, watch back the damn it, watch back one of the live streams. I think it was Livestream 14. Yeah, it was quite nice. It took a while to get, like, actually getting from 0 to 20 followers was worse than from 20 to 50. But yeah, affiliate is sweet because it's not that I'm like massively sort of thinking, oh wow, now it's monetized, now all these other stuff is available to me, but it's just something ticked off. You know, I'm not looking for followers anymore. There's the requirements for partner do not include followers, so I no longer have to just spew this line every stream, you know, going, oh please follow me, I'm working towards 50 followers. I have 50 followers. Even if 40 people unfollowed me now, that wouldn't mean I lose affiliate, you know. So it's really nice to be affiliate. Okay, let's just quickly up the BCLK a tiny bit more, and then we'll show you the North Bridge. So 154 Cinebench. That seems pretty bad. Oh, Rave, thanks for the sub. That's amazing. Much appreciated. So Jim Jam Jammin was my first subscriber. I'm working on the subscriber emotes. There's a little bit of an issue at the moment with Twitch allowing uploads of PNGs. So almost there. I have all the screws at the front. Just taking off the screws at the back. Ella, I believe Ray will tell you more, but I believe the way it works is if you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free Twitch Prime sub per month. There's our North Bridge. So, but it does contain the IMC on AM3 Plus, doesn't it, Bilko? This has been an educational stream. Now find out on the Crossblade. Yes, there isn't any. Yeah, okay. Fine. But they could have released APUs without an integrated IMC. You know, like I'm sure they had their reasons, but I don't think it's as you know, as sort of cut and dried as people are making it out to be. Okay, so it's literally, so that's an even more superfluous sort of difference, you know, like it's a distinction without a difference. There could have been yeah, there could have been APUs on AM3 is all I'm saying. Now as I say, maybe the main boards ended up being cheaper. Who knows? Or there could have been any number of reasons, but and AM4. Don't forget AM4. I like getting people salty, but it's the display out is just, you can just add a tiny chip for like 50 cent. I know AM4 has a full sock. That doesn't change the fact that the IMC is in the CPU, just the same as it is with AM3 Plus or whatever. Look, in summary, I actually, as a bencher, like the fact that there are more AMD platforms. So, like I was pointing out earlier, it means that for Division 6, potentially, we can run 3 different platforms for 3 different 2D benches to get the optimal result. So FM2, potentially for Geekbench, and then, well, I don't know. I don't want to say, but there may even be a third platform that's viable in Division 6. Whereas on Intel, it's so boring. Division 1, 8700K or fuck off. Division 2, 8600K or go fuck yourself. Division 3, definitely the i3 on whatever it is, 8400, because they upped the core count. There's no way you can compete with a 7350K in Division 3. So it's just so boring. Whereas, okay, Division 5 and Division 4 and Division 5 on the AMD side are probably similar. But you know, if there's a Cinebench stage or GPU Pi stage that's per core, then it's interesting because you can go down. The fuck is the third platform? I'd rather not say. For now. Oh, Ella, you can't do it on mobile. Okay. I didn't get my screenshot and it blue screened. I'll have to redo that. So that's 112 BCIK. Let's try 113. Oh, Ray was getting in on the bits as well. I missed that. So what do people think, right? A lot of them are established streamers, but on the gaming side, they they have all these graphics pop up for subscribers and bits and stuff. My opinion is it's tacky. I think it's sort of like, I don't know, it ruins the VOD as well. So I don't think many people watch back my my streams yet, because they're pretty dry and long-winded and stuff. But I do find that even if there's one person out there who's going to watch back the VOD of a previous live stream because they missed it, they're going to be put off by a massive graphic of, a girl in a bikini saying, "Oh, thanks for the bits" or whatever. So my opinion at the moment is just to not enable any of that. No follower notification, no bits notification, no subscription notification. I see it in the chat. I may react to it slightly slower or not at all, but I think that's a reasonable trade-off to make for just a ruined video stream. Like, I want to see just the benched. Keep it simple. Yeah, exactly. Just what's being benched. Maybe an extra feed of the rig or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with that at all. I see it in chat. What's the point in notification? I see what people do. So that's good enough for me. If it's good enough for everybody else, then I'm happy with that. Okay, so 113. Let's grab a quick verification. Ugh. Okay. Let's run GPU Pi just for fun. Yeah, that's a good point, Ella. I don't think an overclocking stream will ever have a chat that's so fast moving that he can't keep up with subscriptions and stuff anymore. But I suppose it's a possibility. Well, I'm glad we're on the same page. Okay, so what's GPU Pi for this competition again? I think it's 1B version 3.3, but I could be wrong. Yeah, how many viewers does Buildside get these days? So it's 100M 3.3. Okay, good to know. So this is actually the non-legacy version, which is interesting because for AM3 I had to use the legacy version, but here the non-legacy version of 3.3 is working. I would assume we'd pass the same that Cinebench passes, so let's try 112. Now the really interesting thing is okay, we have our validation. What sort of batches and reductions should I even be using here? Oh god, the current record for 100M on version 3.2 or before is 1 minute and 48 seconds. I've never seen a 100M that slow. Like, yeah, 464. I was thinking that. This guy used 1M64, and he's Aussie. He's kind of pretty good. Okay, maybe I do need the legacy version. I spoke too soon. I have it on one of these USB sticks, so no big drama. Go away. I thought I had it on here somewhere. But the other thing about streaming is I actually kind of like just the borderless look, you know. I don't know why there's streamers out there who pay people good money to make all these weird streaming overlays, and I think they just look tacky. All of them. Now, I'm not saying I couldn't improve my current design. Certainly there are things I could improve. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of the stuff I see out there is worse, which is kind of weird. This could be painful to watch. Okay, no first batch yet. The CUDA device is the graphics card. I have the drivers installed. The first batch should be like, oh, 1B. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I knew there was something wrong. It was a test. I was checking to see if people were still paying attention, you know. This is half the speed of 3.2 or thereabouts. Legacy is so slow. I mean, we all appreciate this guy developing the bench, but sometimes he's a little bit ambitious with his updates to the point where he excludes certain bits of hardware. You know, I mean, it's his prerogative and all that, but for a competitive environment, it's not conducive, kind of, you know. So which sticks did you got? Did you get 3200C 14 stable, Bilko? Maybe I should run 3 Mark 11 physics after this. Pretty sure there's no results. Easy gold. RGB. The whole world is going to be RGB soon. Not bad. On Ryzen, I'm assuming? Can't believe how slow this 100M is. This is an achievement to be going this slow. Ultimate. That's what every bencher ever said. I need to set some sub timings. 10 hours later, they're still doing it. Well, that's done. I do have I have a feeling I'm about to be made fun of again, though. And the reason is this is not my IDE mode OS. This is my 3D OS. And that's why it blue screen on IDE mode. I sometimes mislabel my SSDs, and I think this is one of the times. Man, I went to so much effort to after Make gave out to me, went to so much effort to build a Win 7 from scratch with IDE mode enabled. I used that on X79, and then I mixed up my SSDs. One OS for everything, but that doesn't work because Geekbench 4 can't work on diagnostic mode. I mean, yeah, there's lots of reasons. Let's run physics though. This will be fun. Do we have drivers in good state? Yeah, that looks okay. Okay, that's probably the reason. Okay, no physics. I don't know what I can say. I labeled my SSDs, but the labels then are outdated sometimes, and my fan is broken again. Nice, 295X. You bought it online, didn't you? I think this might need a CMOS clear. Oh, Bowman is on Z. He's a nice guy. Oh, GPU Pi is FX for sure. FX is the only platform with 8 cores, so no competition there. I'm getting a hang on 9C. Yeah, 06 is a tricky one. So just to make fun of this board a little bit more, I mentioned it earlier already, but there's a red clear CMOS button at the bottom of the PCB, and then there's one of those fancy clear CMOS buttons in the I/O shield, and neither button works. So I just pulled the battery. So much for an RG board. Should put pants on first. Okay, I'm glad I marked this stream as intended for mature audiences. Okay, I don't know what's going on with this board. It keeps hanging on 9C. FF62, that's fine. What the hell? Okay. Recovery doesn't seem great on this board either. I'm not re-enabling my capture card for a second. I just want to get into OS. Okay, now maybe I should re-enable my capture card just to capture this monumental moment. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna enable IDE mode. Then I'm gonna go under boot. I'm gonna disable secure boot. Look, it's early. Okay, this isn't the right OS either. I think I only have 4 SSDs, so Server 2012 wouldn't be legal, would it? Yeah, this is the right OS. Hit the fan. That can be become a new meme. X Power and Bristol Ridge. Yeah, that's pretty obscure. Almost as obscure as a Crossblade. Okay, good. We still have IDE mode. This is the Windows 7 I'm looking for. Yes. Amazing things are about to happen. It's working on IDE mode. It's gonna have to like install USB drivers and all that crap, but sleeping fan emote. The real problem is the only way to add fans, add emotes is extra subscribers, and it's like I can't, like, who the fuck would subscribe just for an emote? Seriously. So the AM4 X Power is flagship? That's a joke. Who would buy that? I kind of skip this shit. What's PBO? Disk checking is an essential part of overclocking, so I'm glad I've captured this for the ages. More expensive than a Crosshair. Good boy points. I don't even want to comment on that. Okay, install your device drivers, please. Oh, here's the GPU Pi Legacy. Now I know I was confused with GPU Pi versions. Yes, I have a mouse. This is great. I hope it's Australia, mate. We use camels down here to transport stuff. Don't you know? You grew up here. I shouldn't be telling you this. It's only Monday. Nah, we transport everything on camels. That's how it works. I can't get any more goddamn resolution. But I think the remedy to this is to install the graphics driver, because the other OS Its only issue was no graphics driver. Oh, well, its only difference to this one was no graphics driver. So, yeah, let's do that. Let's install the. Well, do we not have? Thanks, Bilko. What the hell? Just trying to get my USB ports working. Oh, maybe we have to like leave diagnostic mode or something. Yeah, probably. All my Windows 7s come from the same image. If the other Windows 7 was able to recognize my 3.0 USB ports, surely this one can too. What do you mean? You enjoy two GPU Pi, as in two different versions? Well, HyperBot splits the rankings, so you need two different versions. How to enjoy? Okay. Okay, I'm a little bit surprised by this whole. Just going to double check that it's really enabled in BIOS. Meanwhile, I'm going to download the drivers because that's might be what it comes down to. .8 MB. I can do that. Yeah, it's on. Okay, that's super weird. I literally plucked two OSs, existing OSs, out of just my collection, plugged them into the same mainboard with obviously not the right drivers installed, and one was fine and the other wasn't. Maybe by just sheer coincidence, one of my like X299 motherboard has the exact same USB 3.0 driver controller rather. It seems unlikely, but considering the stuff that I have witnessed in the past, as me so now I got to do the fun thing of unplugging my mouse because I don't have enough USB ports. You know what? Maybe I should unplug my keyboard. It's probably the better way to do it. I need a lot of things. Okay. I'll have to wait for my graphics driver to install anyway. So now, let's witness the magic of having more than 2 USB ports. Are you ready? What are you leak testing? Yeah. Yes. Glorious. Is it a custom loop, I'm guessing? What kind of custom loop? What blocks do you have in it? How many rads? Are you chilling it or is it ambient? What's janky? A KVM switch? No, I don't want GeForce experience. Thank you very much. Just the drivers, please. It's always just the drivers. Fountain pump, nice. Yes, I am a victim of software counterfeiting. Let's also get the Geekbench installed if possible. Where's my... Oh, there we go. I'm liking the new low latency mode. Oh, chiller, nice. I have a Hylea HC500. Just waiting for one more adapter, and then I'll go to town with it. I have a Threadripper block, so that'll be my modern 3D setup. Chill Threadripper, because I don't want to lose the RAM performance, memory performance. We should have 1920p, well, 1080p, I mean. What are you going to chill on it? Graphics cards or CPUs or everything? Oh, this is... I remember having this graphics card. Man. Really not doing well here. I'm installing a graphics driver that doesn't work on this card for some reason. So I've got to go into save mode, uninstall it, reinstall. This is real overclocking though. How much, how much chilling performance does your chiller have? Do you think you can really run both GPU and CPU through there? So 398.11 is garbage. I should go for the 397. So I have a, I'm sure he wouldn't mind if I mention this. I've had a chat with Yoss about the weekend. So I stream on Friday evenings Australian time anyway. Yoss and Neo and some other guys from the team are having a bench meet over the weekend. They're benching all 3 nights or all 3 days. So I was just looking at it from the perspective of time zones and stuff. And it turns out if I just stream slightly later than I usually do on Friday night, and maybe slightly longer, I'll be able to stream all the way up until they're ready to stream, because they're, at least one of them will be looking to stream. So yeah, the idea is, obviously ideally we'd want sort of like 3 time zones covered, so that you'd have the potential of sort of like a 24-hour stream that's split by 3 or 4 different streamers. But I don't think we can get. It would have to be Billzoid, I suppose in Europe. I don't think we could get him on board for that. I don't know how practical it is. But anyway, the basic idea is it's pretty simple. I stream until they come online. If they're a little bit late, I'll just stream longer. And at the end of my stream, I'll just communicate with them via text or whatever, or Discord. And then on stream, I'll just say, I'm now going to host Yas, and this is the system that he's ready to run. So it'll be fun. It'll be sort of like, I suppose it'll be like a 12-hour stream, that kind of thing, across 2 different streamers. So I'll host his channel. Now, what I'm not sure about yet is if I really get LN2 in on Thursday or Friday, I may be able to stream Saturday morning too. So what that means is we could make it sort of like not an 18-hour stream, but sort of, make it 3 streams in one. Because by the time I wake up, they'll be sort of almost finished. So maybe they can then host me back. But that's an optional part. The first part is, unless something catastrophic happens, like their internet is really bad, the first part is definitely happening. The second part is just sort of fancy bonus idea I have. No fucking clue about your rig being, or your new loop being good enough. Well, just look at how well you can keep your CPU temps. GPUs have a lot higher wattage though, so yeah, most of the time, there's a local bencher here who ran 4-way cards on chiller, and he had to loop in 2 different chillers. He had to loop in a 1,000-watt and a 500-watt just to be able to chill 4 cards with no CPU. What size are the RAM fans? I have no idea. I could like hold them up against my hand or something. I don't know. Let's do this. This is socket 2011 version 1 chip. There you go. Almost the same size. Are you happy now? Does it all make sense to you? Yes! So I need graphics drivers installed for this damn capture card. Nanya DDR2. That's not a bad find. I'd be happy with that. No, not a shortcut to a PNG. Fucking hell. No, what am I doing? Set as wallpaper. Okay. Now I just need to get Turbo V in there. This should work. I have so much random DDR1, 2, and a little bit of 3. I need to inventory it at some point. Okay. So in summary, it doesn't always appear to be possible to set IDE mode on an a Windows 7 that was installed using HCI, but it does seem to be possible to move an IDE mode installed Windows 7 between platforms. Low expectations. Make you always have low expectations. If somebody in the team got like a 10K Geekbench 4 single core, you kind of, maybe that would be the thing that would excite you. That would be the only thing, really. Darth Peanut MWO. Nice username. Give Nanya a chance. Come on. The current release, Turbo V, works. It's amazing. I think I need to reinitialize my capture card yet again, which is a little bit, disappointing. So, hey folks, are you sick of people being excited about the World Cup yet? So what I'm going to do, now that I have a working IDE mode OS, I'm slow, but I get there, What's our uptime? Probably 3 hours plus. What I was saying was, are you sick of the World Cup yet in England, Ray Van Mick? I need to stop muting myself. Clearly, I'm not intellectually capable of remembering to unmute myself. Strangely not. This fucking meme about bringing home football. Still waiting for Windows to load. So let it be noted that AHCI didn't boot 110 BCLK. It booted 106. It didn't boot 107. So 106 was the definite hard cap at stock volts. And this is 110 on IDE. So you were actually not even wrong for a change. So 110. 110 is good. Let's bench Geekbench at that. Let us bench Geekbench. But the sad thing, okay, while I enter my key, let me be careful here. Okay, you can't see anything. You can just see graphics bars here, right? This, before the stream tonight, this was my data usage for this billing month. After 2 streams, that's Aussie internet. This is the top plan that my mobile network offers to existing customers, 40 gigabytes. After that, it's $10 a gigabyte. How incredibly sad is that? So please, you know, just be in awe at how bad things are down here while I install Geekbench 4 and enter my key. For the second time tonight, you know, because... let me go back to the stream. Yeah, okay. Clearly, you can't get enough of somebody entering their Geekbench 4 key into a field. Well, it runs. Just gotta enter my key. I should probably just drop a file with all the keys onto my SSDs using my USB adapter, but I don't think I'm smart enough for that. Okay. So we're at 110 BCLK. It's going to be exciting stuff. Use Windows on a USB stick for more BCLK. I've never heard of that, and I refuse to believe that's a thing. We're still at 666. Okay, why are you saying I should stream once a week instead of twice? What is that implying? That I should sort of accumulate all my preparation into one stream so it's actually any good? Is that sort of what you're trying to say there? But I like streaming. So, okay, so the sound is robotic. I'm not seeing any drop frames. And I'm not muted, so... And the only audio source that's enabled is my microphone, which is right in front of me. How long did it last how long did the robotic voice last the last time you heard it? It must just be a side effect of low latency mode. Well, I hope not, but I can't think what else it could be. I've had 14 streams without robotic voice. Shit. Just gonna disable that audio device for a minute. Has it gotten better? Has the voice gotten better, or is it the same thing again? Almost done with our Geekbench 4 run here. Same. There's not a lot I can do. There's really not a lot I can do. I can restart the stream, that's about the only thing, but that's a pretty heavy-handed approach. As long as you can still understand me. Okay, 3.9. My results are on the other hard drive, but that's better than what I had before. Am I still a robot? Let's try NOS OC. Maybe in ID mode it's different. What command did Palazin recommend to disable real-time mode? Just scrolling back in the chat. You can't actually scroll back all the way. Okay. Let's just try 112. Or 115, screw it. Okay, 115 was too much. Back to normal. Yeah, I really haven't changed anything about my setup. I obviously don't have speakers on here, so there's no echo from that. It's the same mic I've been using forever. It's the same audio settings I've been using forever. I don't use, obviously, all my other cameras have mics installed as well. I just make sure to disable them, so the mic in my laptop is off, the mic in the rig cam is off. I have another camera hooked up for the delidding later on, which is technically on at the moment, but it's not configured as an audio source. So yeah, there's not much I can change really. The capture card. I haven't explicitly disabled, but considering the weird issues I've been having with it, yeah, it's definitely not beyond the realm of possibility. I just changed the audio setting and it disappeared. Hmm. So I'll do it again. So many robots in chat, it's kind of funny. Okay. Weirdly enough, when I disable the capture card, it also um, mutes my audio for some reason. But what I was saying is, with the capture card off, is the robotic voice gone? Yes or no? Okay, so it's gone. All right, so it's definitely the capture card, which makes no sense to me. But I'm now going to activate it with buffering off, and we're going to check if that makes it robotic again. So, is this robotic? Robotic. Fuck. It makes no sense. Okay, so it's trying to capture the audio from here. So let's just disable the audio on here. Okay, maybe not in the middle of a fucking defense run, but does that sound better now? Is it still robotic? Yeah, okay. Well, that's a shame. That's a shame.